shredding. That's our topic for today's video. Once again, I know, what a surprise, but we're looking at something quite different and really challenging today. I'd like to show you an extremely powerful system today for playing and composing very impressive shred guitar licks. This exercise and overall system will also really help with speeding up your licks, synchronizing your hands, and it will also unlock a whole new level of creative possibilities when it comes to lick writing. So I hope you're as excited about this as I am. Let's start shredding right away. Today's topic is something I wanted to feature on the channel for quite a long time now. It's 4-note per string scales and 4-note per string shredding. As you probably know by now, I'm a big fan of the 3-note per string system when it comes to fast alternate picking or legato licks. So I featured this system and a lot of exercises on the channel already. If you feel like you missed some exercises concerning the techniques I was just using and the scales I was playing, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now. Almost 70% of you guys and girls watching these videos are not subscribed to the channel. And of course you keep missing a lot of cool licks, exercises and practice concepts that way. But for today's video, we're not gonna work with that comfort zone of those 3-note per string scales. We will add one more note on each string and we will start diving into the very interesting world of 4-note per string shredding. Before we start practicing, let's quickly discuss why you would actually do that and where the most important benefits are with that system. Let's check out a quick graphic together. This one illustrates the distribution of the down and up strokes when we compare 3-note per string scales to 4-note per string scales. So as you can immediately see, the biggest challenge when it comes to 3-note per string scales and really just playing the scale up and down is that we're sometimes starting with a downstroke on the string and sometimes we're starting with an upstroke. Because naturally we're playing a pattern of 3 notes and with alternate picking we only have 2 values that we can assign here, a downstroke or an upstroke. If you ever tried speeding up a 3-note per string scale like that, really just playing the scale up and down, you will have noticed how difficult that actually is because you don't want to get stuck between the different strings, you don't want any unwanted noise coming from the string transitions and all that stuff. But when we extend the system to 4 notes per string, you can see that we start with a downstroke on every single string since we are playing a pattern of 4 notes. So we're playing downstroke, upstroke, downstroke, upstroke, and then on the next string we're starting again with a downstroke. You actually might be familiar with that system already in case you ever practiced those classic picking workouts in the chromatic or semi-chromatic scale, like that for example. I think we all played something similar like that before, and depending on your own personal style and preferences, this might be easier concerning your right hand since you always work with exactly the same kind of pattern going up and down the strings, downstroke, upstroke, and then moving to the next string. And even as soon as you get more creative with the patterns and working with different groups, different smaller groups in those licks, you still kind of end up with more evenly distributed picking patterns because you always think in that 4-note per string framework. So if it's kind of easier to speed up your phrases like that with the string transitions and also to come up with more creative ideas because you have 4 notes per string to work with, why not always work with the 4-note per string system for your shred licks? Well, there's one kind of challenging and negative aspect, if you will, about 4-note per string scales, and that is the stretching that's required by the left hand. When you first start working on that and extending your 3-note per string scales with that one additional extra note on each string, it will feel almost kind of impossible, especially if you have smaller hands. But we will start out with an exercise that will make it a bit easier to get started with that kind of 4-note per string system. So this is the really cool looping lick and exercise I prepared for today. Let's check it out together right now. As always, you can download the detailed PDF tabs, the guitar profiles and the video player alongs for this exercise on my Patreon page, patreon.com/Bernd. Aside from providing those really helpful files for every single lesson that I post here on YouTube, my VIP Club members also have access to my secret Facebook group. And in that one I can give direct feedback and coaching to student contributions, videos for example of technique. And it's really amazing to see the students in there getting better and better every single week. So make sure to check that out and to join us in case you want to take your technique and theory skills to the next level as fast as possible. So here's how I came up with this lick and exercise. I was pretty much just thinking in the A minor scale, and I was starting out with A right here on the 10th fret on the B string. And I was just thinking in that 4 note per string mindset, starting out with the scale on the B string with 4 notes, and then I was moving to the E string with the next 4 notes. So I was really just playing A, B, C, D, so the 10th fret, 12th, 13th and 15th fret. And since I reached my maximum of 4 notes per string, I have to jump to the next note, to E, on the next string, on the E string. So I'm playing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, up to A once again. So in just this one position for this lick, I'm playing from A in one octave all the way up to A in the next octave. So once again, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way up to A. And the cool thing about this lick is that I can just loop this pattern. And the way I'm looping it is I'm actually starting out with the highest note, with A right here. And I'm just thinking in 16th notes, so I'm playing 4 notes each beat. And I'm just playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so on. So I can kind of cycle this lick over and over again, which is always great for an exercise, by repeating A. As you can see, that is pretty hard to keep the stretches going as soon as you speed it up, but it's a great exercise for that and for your fingers in general, and I really want to work on that more in my practice routine. So those are also kind of my first steps of checking out that system more. It has been on the list for quite a long time, but we also have so many other topics that we discuss. So one way, and actually my preferred way of working on this and of working on any kind of exercise, is always playing up until the first problem point, so to say. So the first challenge could be just playing 3 notes, but not using your index finger for that. Just playing A, G and F with your pinky, ring and middle finger. That is pretty challenging since you're used to playing it like that or like that or like that, but not really like that. It really feels kind of weird doing that. So that could be the first kind of exercise, only working on these 3 fingers and on the stretching. Then you could work on the entire 4 note per string phrase, playing A, G, F and E, ascending and descending. And then to take it to the next level, you could play the first note on the B string, for example. You would need the pinky finger right here because of how the phrase would continue. So you're playing, and then eventually you get to just playing it that way, and then you can turn it around. It really depends on where your personal problem zones are, and I would never actually kind of start out with the entire exercise and already playing it as fast as possible. I would start out really slow and work on the first small problems, then add more to the lick and more until you end up with the full exercise. And one more thing that really helps you out in case the stretches are a bit too tough right now in this section of the fretboard is just moving up the exercise. There's absolutely no shame in that. We all have different fingers, and I'm sure that it's much easier for certain players to perform stretches than it is for me, and much more difficult for other players to perform these stretches than it is for me. So it always depends on your hands and on the length of your fingers, but I think stretching exercises like that make it much easier in the future to kind of extend that range you get out of your fingers. At least I feel that way after practicing that lick for a couple of days now. So you can also start out right here, anywhere where you feel comfortable in the beginning. Or of course you can also practice it down here in case all of this is too easy for you. One more thing that I absolutely have to mention in the end is that this can put a lot of stress on your left hand, and it's very important to take breaks when you're practicing this. When I was preparing for this lesson and I was practicing this lick on the first day, of course I overdid it because I got really excited and I practiced this for a couple of hours, not really taking breaks and just playing that looping cycle over and over again. And after that long practice session I noticed some tension in my pinky finger, and it became a bit hard for the next 2 days to perform simple chord shapes like that, where my pinky finger is barring the strings, for example. And right now everything is back to normal, which is always great, but please take it slow and don't injure yourself. It's really not worth it to push for those short-term goals, and you might end up with serious injuries like tendonitis or anything like that. You will also see that I programmed a lot of resting zones in the video play-alongs that I uploaded on Patreon for you. In the beginning I definitely want you to take a short break after each cycle and not just start with playing the exercise over and over again. Right from the start, give your hand some rests, and as soon as you feel some kind of weird pain or burning sensation, it's time to stop for today. So please let me know on the lesson wishlist on Patreon if we should check out more crazy 4-note per string shredding licks like that, maybe some more practical approaches and examples or full scale phrases. Anything you would like to work on, this is a really exciting topic for me. And of course, also don't forget to subscribe to stay updated for more guitar lessons. You keep missing a lot of stuff if you're not subscribed, so make sure to change that right now. Leave a like in case you enjoyed this video and in case you learned something new. That always really helps me out a lot, and that helps with showing the video to more people here on YouTube. And as always, don't forget to leave a comment in case you have any questions or suggestions for me. I will hopefully see you guys and girls in the next video. All the best and have a lot of fun working on this.